At air bases around the country, reports of UFOs came flooding in. The witnesses were often some of the RAF's most accomplished pilots.
The 21st of October 1952, a date indelibly printed in my mind.
Michael Swiney was based at RAF Little Rissington, training the top forces pilots to become instructors. He was expecting to make a routine flight with one of his students.
It was round about 12, 13, 14,000 feet. We broke through some cloud with nothing above. Fairly soon after that, I was rather horrified to see, framed in the front windscreen of the Meteor, 3 circular white objects.
Mick Swiney in the front suddenly said, "Is your oxygen connected?" I said, "Mick, we've just done the 30,000 foot check, and you checked that your oxygen was all right, and I told you that mine was. What's the problem?" He said, "Well, take a look straight ahead." And I looked straight ahead, and there were 3 very bright dots.
My immediate reaction was 3 people coming down in parachutes, and they're right in front of the aircraft. So I, in fact, took the control to turn the aeroplane away from what I perceived to be perhaps a dangerous situation.
As we went towards them, they, of course, got closer in that instead of being all in the small direct vision window, they were now above the windshield and either side of the windshield.
They definitely did move. Now, I remember this quite clearly. They moved across us from left to right, port to starboard. They were circular, perfectly circular, but looking up at them, as one got higher, which we continued on in the climb, they lost their circular shape and took on more or less a flat plate effect, which is what you would get if you bring a saucer down from above eye level down. You will then just get a flat plate.
Unbeknown to Swiney-Crofts, on the ground, flight control had just detected 3 mysterious objects and were beginning to plot their movements.
I said to Mick, let's go and find out what they are. And he said, no, something like that happened on the west coast of America, and the pilots were never seen again, and the airplane was believed to have been vaporized. And so we didn't do that. But he then called base.
So I called them up, and I simply told them my call sign and said that we had 3 unidentified objects and asking for assistance. I have to admit, and I don't mind admitting it, and I've always admitted it, that I was somewhat scared, frightened by what I was witnessing.
Ground control was unable to offer any explanation. As the UFOs continued to move about the sky, it seemed as though they were toying with the pilots.
These objects, which were, as I say, by then to the starboard side, and had remained there during the period of looking at them and looking away to see if by any chance there was some other explanation. When one looked back, and this is the trouble, they were nowhere to be seen. as quickly as that.
On their return to base, the men were not given their usual reception by their commanding officers.
I was told to go to my room and that I was not to go to the mess for tea, that all my meals would be brought to me in my cabin. I wasn't to talk to anyone at all until I had gone back to the wing commander's office the following morning at 9 o'clock.
We were met and we were separated immediately.
The man that interviewed me the following morning was in plain clothes. I had no idea what his rank was. He also told me that the objects had been picked up on radar and that they had a ground speed of 600 miles an hour. I was surprised that he said miles an hour and not knots, but it perhaps indicated that he was not an aviator. We were asked, incidentally, to draw what we saw, and I think I just drew 3 ellipses and 3 dots in a triangle representing the direct vision panel.
As well as filling out an official report, Michael Swiney recorded the incident in his logbook, which he keeps to this day.
I console myself by saying that I know I saw something, and thank goodness there was somebody else to corroborate what I had seen. I've often been asked, what do you think they are? And I have to answer, I really haven't got the vaguest idea. I wish I had.
Today, the reports have vanished without explanation. The only document that remains is the flight squadron's record book. Michael Swiney was told that their actual reports into the incident had been shredded after 5 years, in line with government policy.